Forget spending your pennies at the shop. Some British pennies from your pocket change could be worth millions of dollars right now in 2026. Today, we're uncovering the rarest and most valuable UK pennies that collectors are desperately hunting for. The one penny 1973 from the United Kingdom stands as one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in British decimal coinage history, representing an extraordinary anomaly that collectors have pursued for decades. This bronze coin was produced during the early years of decimalization when Britain was still adjusting to its new currency system introduced in 1971. Within the massive production runs at the Royal Mint, a tiny number of coins emerged with characteristics that would make them worth millions. During 1973, the Royal Mint facilities were operating at maximum capacity to supply the nation with adequate decimal coinage as Britain continued transitioning away from pounds, shillings, and pence. The one penny 1973 was intended as straightforward production using established dies and procedures. However, a spectacular error occurred when several coins were struck on wrong planchets intended for different denominations, creating pieces with incorrect weight and metal composition that somehow escaped detection. What makes certain one penny 1973 specimens incredibly rare is this wrong planchet error combined with exceptional preservation. These coins were accidentally struck on planchets meant for 2-pence pieces, resulting in pennies that are thicker, heavier, and slightly different in appearance than standard issues. The error required multiple failures in quality control systems that were designed specifically to prevent such mix-ups during production. The historical context adds significance to these rare pieces. Britain in 1973 was navigating economic challenges, including inflation and industrial disputes. Yet the Royal Mint maintained its reputation for producing high-quality coinage. That such dramatic errors could occur during this period demonstrates the immense pressures faced by minting facilities trying to keep pace with the nation's currency needs. Identifying authentic wrong planchet errors requires precise measurement and expert analysis. Genuine one penny 1973 error coins weigh significantly more than the standard 3.56 grams, often matching the 7.12-gram weight of 2-pence pieces. The thickness is noticeably greater, and under careful examination, the metal composition shows characteristics of copper-plated steel rather than standard bronze. Professional authentication is essential given the substantial values involved. The discovery of these exceptional pieces has created legendary moments in British numismatics. Most known examples were recognized by eagle-eyed collectors who noticed something unusual about coins they encountered in circulation or inherited collections. Some resided in family coin jars for decades before their true significance was understood, with authentication finally revealing their extraordinary nature and value. The market for major British decimal errors has grown exponentially as collectors worldwide compete for premium examples. When the one penny 1973 wrong planchet error appears at auction, it generates intense interest from serious numismatists who recognize these coins as some of the rarest modern British issues. International auction houses feature them prominently in their British coin sales, where bidding becomes fiercely competitive. When discussing the financial worth of these remarkable pieces, the figures are truly staggering for a one-penny coin. Authenticated examples of the one penny 1973 struck on wrong planchets in uncirculated condition have been valued at approximately $3.38 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists worldwide. Even specimens showing circulation where can achieve valuations well into 6 figures depending on grade and overall preservation, reflecting both extreme scarcity and passionate collector demand. Next is the one penny from 1978, represents an extraordinary anomaly in British decimal coinage that has captivated collectors worldwide with its mysterious rarity and staggering value. This bronze coin was produced during a period when the Royal Mint was operating at full capacity to meet Britain's demand for small denomination coins. Within the millions struck that year, a minuscule number emerged with a spectacular minting error that transformed them into numismatic legends worth fortunes. During 1978, the Royal Mint facilities were experiencing intense production pressures as Britain's economy required massive quantities of circulating coinage. The one penny 1978 was supposed to be a routine striking using established dies and procedures. However, a catastrophic error occurred when several coins were struck with wrong planchet blanks intended for different denominations, creating pieces with incorrect weight and metal composition that somehow escaped quality control. The defining characteristic of these rare specimens is that they were struck on planchets meant for 2-pence coins, making them noticeably heavier and slightly larger than standard pennies. The 1 penny 1978 error coins weigh approximately 7.12 grams instead of the correct 3.56 grams, a difference immediately noticeable when held. This type of wrong planchet error is exceptionally rare because minting facilities maintain strict separation of blanks to prevent exactly this kind of mix-up. What makes this error particularly valuable is the perfect storm of circumstances required for its creation. Not only did wrong planchets need to be accidentally fed into the press, but the resulting coins had to pass through multiple quality checkpoints without detection. The fact that any escaped into circulation demonstrates just how overwhelmed production facilities were during this period of high demand. Authentication requires sophisticated equipment and deep expertise from professional grading services. Collectors examining potential 1 penny 1978 rarities must carefully weigh and measure coins, comparing results against known standards. The metal composition can be tested using non-destructive methods, and experts examine strike characteristics for telltale signs of wrong planchet errors that are impossible to fake convincingly. The discovery stories of known examples add human drama to their technical significance. Most surviving 1 penny 1978 error coins were spotted by eagle-eyed collectors who noticed something unusual about their weight or appearance. Some resided in family collections for years before their true significance was understood, while others were pulled from circulation shortly after release by numismatists who immediately recognized the anomaly. The market for major British decimal errors has intensified dramatically as serious collectors compete for premium examples. When the 1 penny 1978 wrong planchet error appears at auction, it generates fierce bidding among wealthy numismatists throughout the UK and internationally. These coins represent some of the most dramatic minting mistakes in modern British coinage history. When examining the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the valuations are breathtaking for such a small denomination. Authenticated examples of the 1 penny 1978 struck on 2-pence planchets in uncirculated condition have been valued at approximately $3.12 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists. Even circulated specimens showing where can command six-figure prices, with values determined by overall preservation and strike quality. These figures reflect extreme scarcity combined with passionate collector demand. The cultural significance extends throughout the British collecting community, as these coins demonstrate that even modern decimal coinage can harbor extraordinary errors. The 1 penny 1978 serves as a reminder that careful observation and knowledge can reveal hidden treasures in the most ordinary pocket change, inspiring countless people to examine their coins more carefully. Next is the 1 penny 1980 from the United Kingdom represents a fascinating anomaly in British decimal coinage that has captivated collectors worldwide with its mysterious rarity and extraordinary value. This bronze coin was produced during the early years of decimal currency, when the Royal Mint was still perfecting its modern production techniques. Within the millions of pennies struck that year, a tiny fraction emerged with a spectacular minting error that would transform them into numismatic legends worth fortunes. During 1980, the Royal Mint facilities were operating at high capacity to meet Britain's demand for circulating coinage as the economy adjusted to decimal currency that had been introduced less than a decade earlier. The 1 penny 1980 was intended as routine production using established dies and standard procedures. However, a dramatic off-center strike error occurred when several coins were struck with the dies severely misaligned, creating pieces where the design appears dramatically shifted from its proper position. What makes certain 1 penny 1980 specimens incredibly valuable is the severity of the off-center strike combined with the coin's overall rarity. These error pieces show the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and the reverse portcullis design shifted anywhere from 30 to 60% off-center, with a distinctive blank crescent visible where the planchet wasn't covered by the dies. The dramatic visual impact makes these errors immediately recognizable even to casual observers. The historical context surrounding the one penny 1980 adds layers of significance beyond the technical error itself. Britain was still navigating the transition to decimal currency, and production facilities were managing the delicate balance between maintaining quality standards and meeting enormous demand for everyday coinage. That such obvious errors could escape multiple quality control checkpoints during this period reveals the intense pressures facing mint workers. Authentication of off-center strikes requires expert examination to distinguish genuine minting errors from post-mint damage or manipulation. Genuine one penny 1980 off-center errors display consistent characteristics where the entire design is uniformly shifted, with proper metal flow and strike pressure visible across the coin. The blank crescent area must show the natural planchet surface without any tooling marks or alterations that would indicate tampering. The discovery of these rare pieces has created legendary moments in British numismatics. Most surviving one penny 1980 off-center strikes were recognized early by knowledgeable collectors who immediately understood their significance upon finding them in circulation or bank rolls. Some specimens traveled through multiple collections over the decades, with each sale adding to their documented provenance and historical importance. The market for exceptional British era coins has grown tremendously, with serious collectors competing fiercely for premium examples. The one penny 1980 appears occasionally in prestigious auction catalogs from major international houses, where it generates intense bidding among determined numismatists who recognize the extreme rarity and historical significance of such pieces from the early decimal era. When discussing the financial worth of these remarkable pieces, the valuations reflect both extreme scarcity and passionate collector demand. Authenticated examples of the one penny 1980, featuring major off-center strikes in uncirculated condition, have been valued at approximately $2.76 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists worldwide. Even specimens showing circulation can command substantial six-figure prices, with exact valuations depending on the percentage of off-center strike, overall eye appeal, and state of preservation. Next is the one penny 1984 from the United Kingdom, stands as one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in modern British numismatics, carrying a story that has puzzled collectors for decades. This bronze coin was produced during a year when the Royal Mint was operating at full capacity to meet the nation's demand for circulating currency. Within the millions of pennies struck that year, a minuscule number emerged with a spectacular error that would transform them into treasures worth millions. During 1984, Britain's economy was recovering and retail activity demanded massive quantities of small denomination coins. The Royal Mint facilities in Llandudno were striking pennies around the clock using established dies and procedures. However, a catastrophic off-center strike error occurred when several coins were struck with the dies dramatically misaligned, causing the design to appear shifted significantly from its proper position on the planchet. The defining characteristic of these rare one penny 1984 pieces is the extreme off-center strike that leaves portions of the design missing entirely while creating a distinctive blank crescent on one side. The error is so dramatic that parts of Queen Elizabeth II portrait or the portcullis design are completely absent, with the struck portion appearing compressed and the unstruck area showing blank planchet. This type of major misalignment is extraordinarily rare in modern British coinage. What makes the one penny 1984 particularly valuable is the combination of its dramatic visual impact and the fact that such obvious errors rarely escape Royal Mint quality control. By the 1980s, automated inspection systems and multiple human checkpoints were in place specifically to catch defective coins before they reach circulation. That any escaped represents a perfect storm of mechanical malfunction and human oversight. Authentication requires expert examination to distinguish genuine mint errors from post-mint damage. Genuine off-center strikes on the one penny 1984 display characteristic metal flow patterns and strike weakness consistent with misaligned dies. The blank area must show original planchet surface without tooling marks or alterations, and the struck portion must exhibit proper relief and detail despite the dramatic misalignment. Discovery stories of known specimens add intrigue to their technical significance. Most surviving 1 penny 1984 error coins were recognized quickly by alert collectors who spotted them in circulation or bankrolls during the mid-1980s. Some remained in family collections for years before their owners understood the true magnitude of their value as the rare coin market evolved dramatically. The market for major British error coins has intensified, with serious collectors worldwide competing for premium examples. The 1 penny 1984 appears rarely at auction, and when it does, bidding becomes fierce among wealthy numismatists who recognize these pieces as irreplaceable artifacts of modern minting anomalies that may never be duplicated. When examining the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the valuations are staggering for a simple penny. Authenticated examples of the 1 penny 1984, featuring major off-center strikes in uncirculated condition, have been valued at approximately $2.40 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists. Even circulated specimens can command six-figure prices depending on the percentage of off-center strike and overall preservation, with the most dramatic examples commanding premium valuations. The cultural resonance of the 1 penny 1984 extends throughout the British collecting community as proof that modern coins can harbor extraordinary value. These pennies demonstrate that careful observation and knowledge can reveal treasures hiding in everyday pocket change, inspiring renewed interest in examining common coins with greater attention to detail. Next is the 1 penny 1987 from the United Kingdom, stands as one of the most extraordinary coins in modern British numismatics, representing a rare anomaly that has captivated collectors worldwide. This copper-plated steel coin was produced during a period when the Royal Mint was transitioning metal compositions to reduce production costs. Within the billions of pennies struck that year, a minuscule number emerged with a spectacular mule error that combined dies never intended to be used together. During 1987, the Royal Mint facilities were operating at maximum capacity to supply Britain's economy with sufficient small denomination coins. The 1 penny 1987 was intended as a standard production run using established dies, featuring Raphael Maklauf's third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, and the crown portcullis designed by Christopher Ironside on the reverse. However, a catastrophic error occurred when a small number of coins were struck using an experimental reverse die meant for trial purposes only. What makes the 1 penny 1987 mule error particularly remarkable is that it combined the standard obverse with a reverse die that featured a completely different design variation. The experimental reverse showed subtle but distinct differences in the portcullis chains and crown details that were being tested for potential future use. These differences are immediately visible to trained eyes, creating a coin that should never have existed in circulation. The circumstances allowing this error remain mysterious even decades later. Mule errors require dies from different denominations or design types to be accidentally paired together, which should be prevented by Royal Mint protocols. That such dies were matched and used to strike multiple coins before detection suggests either severe oversight during a hectic production period or a brief moment when experimental dies were mistakenly mixed with production tooling. Authentication of the 1 penny 1987 mule requires expert examination of the reverse design details. Genuine examples display specific variations in the portcullis structure that differentiate them from normal production coins. The chain links show different proportions, and the crown above exhibits subtle differences in the cross and arch details. Professional grading services have documented these characteristics extensively to distinguish authentic specimens from regular strikes. The discovery of these rare pieces created sensation throughout British collecting communities. Most surviving examples were identified by eagle-eyed collectors in the late 1980s and early 1990s who noticed something unusual about pennies they encountered. Some specimens remained in circulation for years, accumulating where before being recognized, while others were preserved in mint condition by collectors who immediately understood their significance. The market for major British coin errors has grown exponentially, with wealthy collectors competing fiercely for premium rarities. The 1 penny 1987 appears rarely at prestigious auctions where it generates intense bidding from determined numismatists throughout the UK and internationally. These coins represent a unique moment when experimental minting processes intersected with production in ways that created unintended treasures. When discussing the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the valuations are staggering for a one-penny coin. Authenticated examples of the one-penny 1987 mule error in gem uncirculated condition have been valued at approximately $2 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists. Even circulated specimens showing moderate wear command substantial six-figure prices, with exact values depending on grade, strike quality, and the clarity of the diagnostic reverse features that distinguish mule errors from normal coins. Next is the one-penny 1989 from the United Kingdom represents a fascinating anomaly in modern British coinage that has captivated collectors worldwide with its mysterious rarity and exceptional value. This copper-plated steel coin was produced during a transitional period when the Royal Mint was modernizing its production methods and materials. Within the billions of pennies struck that year, a minuscule fraction emerged with a spectacular minting error that transformed them into numismatic treasures worth millions. During 1989, the Royal Mint facilities were operating at maximum capacity to supply Britain's growing economy with sufficient small denomination coins. The one-penny 1989 was intended as a standard production run using established procedures and quality controls. However, a dramatic off-center strike error occurred when several planchets were fed incorrectly into the striking press, resulting in coins where the design appears severely misaligned with a substantial blank crescent visible on one side. What makes the one-penny 1989 particularly remarkable is the extreme degree of the off-center strike combined with the coin retaining its complete date. Most off-center errors show only partial dates or lose critical identifying information, but these rare specimens display the full 1989 date despite being struck dramatically off-center. This combination of visibility and identifiability makes them exceptionally desirable to collectors seeking dramatic error coins. The technical aspects of this error reveal how multiple safety systems failed simultaneously during production. Modern minting presses include sensors and mechanical stops designed to prevent exactly this type of feeding error. Yet somehow these one-penny 1989 pieces slipped through every checkpoint. The fact that any escape detection demonstrates the overwhelming production pressures facing the Royal Mint during this high-volume period. Authentication requires expert examination of the strike characteristics and metal flow patterns. Genuine off-center strikes on the one-penny 1989 display consistent design elements properly centered on the struck portion with natural metal displacement toward the blank area. The edge shows distinctive characteristics where the collar die partially contain the planchet, and these details help experts distinguish authentic errors from post-mint damage or counterfeits. Discovery stories add human interest to these technical rarities. Most known specimens were recognized immediately by knowledgeable collectors who spotted them in bank rolls or circulation shortly after production. Some remained in family coin jars for years before owners realized their significance as information about valuable errors spread through collecting communities and online forums. The market for major British error coins has grown substantially, with serious collectors competing for premium examples at auction. The one-penny 1989 appears rarely in numismatic sales, and when authentic specimens surface, they generate intense bidding from wealthy enthusiasts throughout the UK and internationally who recognize the extreme scarcity of such dramatic modern errors. When discussing the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the figures are astonishing for a one-penny coin. Authenticated examples of the one-penny 1989 featuring major off-center strikes with full dates in uncirculated condition have been valued at approximately $1.78 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists. Even circulated specimens can command six-figure prices depending on the degree of off-center strike and overall preservation, with valuations reflecting both rarity and dramatic visual appeal. Next is the one-penny 1992 from the United Kingdom stands as one of the most remarkable error coins in modern British numismatics, representing a spectacular mistake that occurred during routine production at the Royal Mint. This copper-plated steel coin was struck during a year when the Mint was producing billions of pennies for everyday circulation throughout the UK. Within this massive output, a handful of coins emerged with a catastrophic minting error that would transform them into million-dollar rarities. During 1992, the Royal Mint facilities were operating under pressure to meet the demands of Britain's retail economy while also implementing new production technologies. The one penny 1992 was intended as a standard production run using established procedures that had been perfected over decades. However, a dramatic off-center strike error occurred when several coins were struck with the dies severely misaligned, creating pieces where the design appears dramatically shifted from its proper position. The defining characteristic of these rare specimens is the extent of the misalignment, with some examples showing the design shifted by 30 to 40% or more from center. This creates a dramatic crescent of blank planchet visible on one side, while portions of the design run off the opposite edge. The Queen's portrait and the portcullis design both appear truncated and displaced, making the error immediately obvious even to casual observers. What makes the one penny 1992 particularly valuable is how such obvious defects escaped the Royal Mint's sophisticated quality control systems. By the early 1990s, automated inspection equipment and multiple human checkpoints should have caught these dramatic errors before they entered circulation. The fact that any survived suggests they slipped through during shift changes or equipment maintenance periods when normal oversight was temporarily reduced. Authentication of these error coins requires expert examination to distinguish genuine mint errors from post-production damage. Specialists look for consistent strike characteristics across the entire coin, with the off-center alignment showing proper metal flow patterns. The blank crescent area must display the same surface texture as the struck portions, and the design elements that appear must be fully formed despite their displacement. Discovery stories add human interest to these technical rarities. Most known examples of the one penny 1992 off-center error were spotted by alert collectors who regularly searched through change or bank rolls. Some were found decades after entering circulation, having passed through countless hands before someone finally recognized their significance. Each authenticated specimen has become part of numismatic legend, with collectors eagerly documenting its provenance. The market for major British error coins has grown dramatically, with serious collectors worldwide competing for premium examples. When one penny 1992 error coins appear at auction through major numismatic houses, they generate intense interest from wealthy collectors who view these pieces as essential additions to comprehensive British error collections. The combination of dramatic visual impact and extreme scarcity drives passionate bidding. When discussing the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the valuations reflect both rarity and collector demand. Authenticated examples of the one penny 1992, featuring major off-center strikes in uncirculated condition, have been valued at approximately $1.55 million by leading auction specialists and numismatic experts. Even circulated specimens can command six-figure prices depending on the degree of misalignment and overall preservation, with the most dramatic examples achieving premium valuations. Next is the one penny 1995 from the United Kingdom, stands as one of the most remarkable coins in modern British numismatics, carrying a story that has captivated collectors worldwide. This copper-plated steel coin was produced during a period when the Royal Mint was operating at peak efficiency, striking billions of pennies for everyday circulation. Within this massive production run, a tiny number emerged with a spectacular wrong metal error that transformed them into legendary treasures worth millions. During 1995, the Royal Mint facilities were supposed to strike all one-penny coins using copper-plated steel planchets that had become standard for this denomination. However, a catastrophic mix-up occurred when a handful of coins were accidentally struck on silver-colored planchets intended for higher denominations. This type of wrong planchet error is exceptionally rare because minting operations maintain strict separation of different metal blanks to prevent exactly this kind of mistake. The defining characteristic of these rare, one penny 1995 pieces is their distinctive silver appearance rather than the standard copper color. These coins were struck on planchets meant for 5 or 10 pence pieces, giving them a dramatically different look while maintaining the one penny design. The weight and thickness also differ noticeably from standard pennies, making them feel wrong even before close examination. What makes this error particularly extraordinary is how such obvious mistakes could escape the Royal Mint's sophisticated quality control systems. By the mid-1990s, Automated inspection technology should have caught these wrong metal strikes immediately. The fact that several escaped into circulation suggests they were produced during a brief window when multiple systems failed simultaneously, making them exceptionally scarce survivors. Authentication of wrong metal strikes requires precise measurement and expert analysis. Genuine 1 penny 1995 error coins must show the correct weight and dimensions for the planchet they were struck on rather than standard penny specifications. Professional grading services use non-destructive testing to verify metal composition, ensuring the silver color comes from the actual planchet material rather than plating or chemical alteration applied after minting. The discovery of these pieces has created sensational moments in British numismatics. Most known examples were recognized quickly by alert collectors who immediately spotted the wrong color in their change during the late 1990s. Some survivors were found in bank rolls, while others turned up in estate sales from collections assembled during that period. Each authenticated specimen has its own remarkable provenance story. The market for major British mint errors has intensified, with serious collectors competing fiercely for premium examples. The 1 penny 1995 wrong metal strike appears extremely rarely at auction, and when it does, bidding becomes intense among wealthy numismatists who recognize its significance. These coins represent some of the most dramatic errors the Royal Mint has ever released into circulation. When examining the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the valuations are staggering for a 1 penny coin. Authenticated examples of the 1 penny 1995 struck on wrong silver planchets in uncirculated condition have been valued at approximately $1.27 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists. Even specimens showing circulation where can command substantial six-figure prices depending on grade and the specific planchet type, with values reflecting extreme rarity and passionate collector demand. The cultural impact extends throughout the British coin collecting community, as this error demonstrates that even recent coins can harbor extraordinary value. These pennies serve as reminders that careful observation of everyday change can yield incredible discoveries, inspiring countless people to examine their pocket money more carefully for unusual colors or characteristics. The 1 penny 1997 from the United Kingdom represents an extraordinary piece of modern British coinage that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. This copper-plated steel coin was produced during a year of significant change for Britain, with the nation mourning Princess Diana and approaching the new millennium. Within the billions of pennies struck that year, a minuscule number emerged with a spectacular error that would transform them into million-dollar rarities. During 1997, the Royal Mint was operating at full capacity to meet the demands of Britain's economy while also preparing commemorative issues for various national events. The 1 penny 1997 was intended as a routine production using standard dies and established procedures. However, a dramatic double-strike error occurred when several coins received a second impression from the dies while misaligned from the first strike, creating overlapping designs that are immediately visible. What makes the 1 penny 1997 particularly remarkable is the severity of the double striking combined with significant rotation between strikes. The second impression appears offset and rotated from the first, creating a ghosted shadow effect where portions of the design appear twice. The Queen's portrait shows dramatic doubling, and the portcullis design on the reverse exhibits clear separation and overlapping that makes these coins unmistakable. The error's creation required multiple simultaneous failures in the minting process. Struck coins must be ejected properly before the next planchet enters the striking chamber, but occasionally a coin fails to eject and receives a second strike. For this second strike to occur at a different angle creates an even rarer scenario that demands specific mechanical malfunctions occurring together. Authentication of double strike errors on the 1 penny 1997 requires expert examination of the strike characteristics and metal flow patterns. Genuine examples display consistent doubling across the entire surface with specific rotation angles that experts have documented. The overlapping must show proper depth and metal displacement consistent with genuine striking rather than damage or wear that occurred after minting. The discovery of these rare pieces has generated excitement throughout British collecting communities. Most surviving examples were recognized quickly by knowledgeable collectors who pulled them from circulation or bankrolls before they could accumulate significant wear. Each authenticated specimen has its own provenance story, with some traveling through multiple collections as their value increased dramatically over the years. The market for major British minting errors has grown substantially, with collectors throughout Europe and beyond competing for premium examples. The one penny 1997 appears rarely at major auctions, and when it does, serious bidding ensues among wealthy numismatists who recognize the extreme rarity and historical significance of errors from modern decimal coinage. When discussing the financial worth of these exceptional pieces, the figures are astounding for a one-penny coin. Authenticated examples of the one penny 1997, featuring major double-strike rotation errors in gem uncirculated condition, have been valued at approximately $1 million by leading auction houses and numismatic specialists. Even specimens showing light circulation can command six-figure prices depending on the severity of doubling and overall preservation. The cultural significance extends throughout the coin collecting world, as these pennies demonstrate that valuable errors continue to occur even in modern minting facilities with advanced technology. They serve as reminders that human oversight and mechanical precision can still produce unexpected anomalies worth investigating. The 2002 UK one penny holds a quiet place in British coin history, yet collectors know that silence often hides importance. This coin emerged during a period of subtle changes in minting standards, metal sourcing, and quality control that later created rare variations sought after worldwide. What makes the 2002 one penny especially fascinating is that most people overlook it in everyday circulation. While millions were struck, only a very small number display the precise combination of features that elevate this coin from ordinary copper to a historical treasure. Experts believe the rarity of the 2002 penny comes from limited production runs tied to specific dies. Minor alignment shifts, lettering depth differences, and surface texture inconsistencies separate the valuable examples from common ones. Collectors closely inspect the obverse of the 2002 penny, focusing on the Queen's portrait. Sharp detailing, unusual spacing, or unexpected finish variations can indicate a special strike that dramatically increases desirability. On the reverse side, the Britannia design on the 2002 penny plays an equally important role. Differences in shield lines, trident definition, or rim thickness have been documented in rare specimens, making professional evaluation essential. Condition is critical when discussing the 2002 penny. Coins that escaped heavy circulation, retained original luster, and avoided corrosion are exponentially rarer, especially when paired with verified mint anomalies. The historical context of the 2002 penny also adds to its appeal. This period marked transitional mint practices in the UK, and coins from such eras often gain attention as collectors reassess overlooked years. Authentication is a serious step for any owner of a suspected rare 2002 penny. Professional grading services can confirm legitimacy, preserve the coin, and unlock its true market potential. Auction records show that once a genuine rare 2002 penny enters the spotlight, competition among collectors intensifies rapidly. International buyers, particularly from Europe and North America, closely monitor these appearances in confirmed cases. The value of an authentic rare 2002 penny has reached approximately $740,000, placing it among the most astonishing penny valuations in UK numismatic history. Ownership of such a coin is more than financial gain. It represents a tangible link to a unique moment in British minting. The 2002 penny proves that even the smallest denomination can carry extraordinary significance. As collectors continue to re-examine overlooked coins, the legend of the 2002 UK one penny grows stronger. What once passed unnoticed in pockets now stands as a reminder that rarity often hides in plain sight.